welcome back to coverage of Grand Prix Philadelphia. We are in the 9th round, and we're looking at Matt Beverly on the right-hand side of your screen. And there he is right there, and he is going to be playing against Jon Finkel.
14-time Pro Tour Top 8 competitor.
Just casually throw out that number. 14 times. He is sitting at 8-0 here in this Grand Prix. He is an exceptional limited player. It's always been his favorite. He's also done exceptionally well at it over his career, so it's no surprise that he shows up here and is having a great day. All right, players are going to be resolving mulligans here. Now, Steve, you were telling me that Matt Beverly is an East Coast PTQ level player from your experience with him, and he's having a great run today as well.
Yeah. 8-0. Him and his brother, Robert Beverly, both been around for a long time.
Okay.
Seen them at or near the top of the standings at PTQs for going on at least a decade.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Jon Finkel has won the roll, and he's going to lead off with a Golgari Guildgate. That is followed by an Izzet Guildgate on Matthew Beverly's side, and a Dagger Drone M for Jon Finkel, a card you like quite a bit.
I love it.
Looks like John agrees with you.
Huh?
So that settles that. Saden wins this round. All right, is that a Rixmati Guild Mage? I believe it is.
It is.
That is one of the more powerful Guild Mages out there. It seems to fit into its guild.
Finkel, no third land, but
really
he has
well.
a Pursuit of Flight to put on his Dagger Drone Imp.
All right, so he's going to gain 3. Matthew Beverly is going to take 3 damage in the air, and immediately Matthew Beverly plays it now. He plays an island here, so okay. See where we're going with the colors here.
Oh,
Ooh,
paralyzing grass
for the 2-for-1.
Ooh.
That's a very strong start for him.
John, still no third land.
I see a Deathrite Shaman, I believe, in hand for John, and he plays it here. He's thinking, and he just ships the turn back. I do see he's got a Key Rune in his hand as well, so if he can manage to find that third land, he should be pretty set up for mana. All right, so he's going to get in for 2 and then also use its ability once to tack on an extra damage here. And he's just going to have to pass a turn back. Not the strongest turn for Matthew Beverly here.
But John still needs to find a third land.
Still cannot find that land. I see a Tenement Crasher in his hand now, and he just says go.
No.
Matthew Beverly again bashing with this Guild Mage. Is he going to tack on another damage, or is he going to play a 5-drop? Spawn of Rixmati would be good, but it's a Batterhorn instead. Fine, 4 power. It's going to make this clock go a bit quicker if John cannot find a land, but he does in fact find a swamp. So now, does he have a 3-drop, or is he going to play that Key Rune and try to keep the ball rolling on getting his mana going? He is still at 16 life, but he's going to take a pretty big chunk next turn. If he plays the Key Rune, I haven't seen exactly which one it is. He might be able to activate his Deathrite Shaman. Currently, there's nothing in any graveyard, but there might be by the time it's John's turn again.
See, John also has a Lobber Crew, but doesn't get that many great box out of it. John plays the Lobber Crew. Potentially going to put it in front of his opponent's Guild Mage.
And unless his opponent plays the second Swamp here, in which case that play gets a lot less attractive.
He still might.
Just make him use up his whole turn and prevent a bunch of damage.
But
all right, so he does not have the second Swamp, so it looks like he is just going to have to block the Guild Mage there, and he's going to take 4 damage.
John falls down to 12. And
is that a Sphinx of the Chimes?
It is.
Oh, man, that's a huge flyer. John, and it comes right on turn 6, as Matthew Beverly has not missed a land drop yet. I believe John has drawn his own Guild Mage there.
Way less effective than Beverly's Guild Mage.
That's right. Some of the Guild Mages are good in the later part of the game, but a turn 2 Rixmati Guild Mage is really, really good.
John using his Lobber Crew, knocking Beverly down to 15, and then playing his own Guild Mage. This is just not good at all for John, obviously.
Yeah, I think things are looking pretty dire for John, but he's going to play it out here and maybe get a chance to see more of Matthew Beverly's deck.
Or maybe if he draws a couple of consecutive removal spells, John could get himself back into the game, but I don't know, this is just not good for him.
Yeah, stumbling on mana that long makes it really tough to get back in the swing here.
Well, and his opponent had the answer for his Pursuit of Flight enchanted Dagger Drome Imp.
Yeah, because sometimes that can just be a game plan in and of itself. A 3/3 flyer in this format can get in a ton of damage.
Yeah, with lifelink.
Right.
So
can't race it really.
Yeah. Beverly attacking with his 4/3 and his 5/6 flyer.
So John could put the Lobber Crew in front of the 4/3, and that would give the. Either way.
Chump blocks with his Guild Mage.
He's going to chump block with his Guild Mage, but he's going to get a creature in the yard, and that's going to give a little food for the Deathrite Shaman there to gain John 2 back of the 5 life that he just lost on that transaction. All right, let's see what Matthew has to follow up with. Well, he's going to activate his Guild Mage first, so that's going to bring John down to 6. And Matthew Beverly just says go.
John puts himself back up to 8 with his Deathrite Shaman.
He also pings with the Lobber Crew. Hey, that's a mountain.
But does John have anything good to cast with it?
Well, it looks like it's 4, and it looks like it's a creature. He's clearing out a little bit of space here, and it is a Cobble Brute.
So if Beverly does not have... Oh, Augur Spree. Which he uses to give his 5/6 flyer +4 power and just kill John.
That's right. And since John was tapped out, he could do that safely. And
John had no flying blockers, no way to stop Beverly from dealing those.
Get a look at Beverly there. Sporting his New York gear there. He's got his Yankees hat on.
Yeah. So John mulliganed, kept a 2-land hand. He had a Dagger Drome Imp and a Pursuit of Flight, but Beverly had the Paralyzing Grasp.
That was such a huge play for him. It just set the tone for the rest of the game as John started missing land drops and didn't have a way to effectively interact with Beverly on any level after that Dagger Drone Imp with the Pursuit of Flight was gone. It's one of the reasons I don't like that type of card generally, but I found Pursuit of Flight to be quite good in this format. All right, so players are sideboarding here after Matthew Beverly takes game 1 against Jon Finkel. After 2-for-1ing him, and then subsequently John didn't draw enough lands to cast his spells. So John's deck, from what we did see of it, looked quite aggressive.
Yeah, but, well, sort of.
Okay.
He had the Dagger Drome Imp.
Yeah.
And he had the Ixmati Guild Mage.
Yes.
And he had Pursuit of Flight.
Yep. Those are all aggressive cards.
But he also had a handful of cards that he could not cast.
That's right.
On 2 or even 3 lands.
I saw a Tenement Crasher in there.
Yeah. A card that we're both pretty high on.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to random, common 6-drop, that one's actually filled the role quite well for me.
Oh.
Certainly better than I thought it would when I initially saw it.
Text coverage reporter Blake Rasmussen is currently covering the Yu Yu Watanabe Joe Spanier feature match.
Okay.
And Blake tweeted that Watanabe cast exactly 1 spell in his Game 1 win over Spanier. You can guess which it was.
I know what it is. There's only 1. Although it starts with 1 and then there's a lot of them. It's got to be that one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious on Twitter if you guys have a guess for what that is. It's gotta be. I can only think of one.
Dagger Drome Imp, of course.
That's right. You cast that, you get in for it 20 times, and they can't ever race
They
you.
can't.
It has
It's
lifelink.
impossible.
It
It's
says lifelink
impossible.
on the card. All right. Players are now presenting their decks. All right, I have one guess.
Okay.
Bitter Blossom.
That's a good
Starts
guess.
with one, and then there's more.
Good guess, but wrong set.
My friend Lee has guessed the same thing that I thought it was.
Yeah.
Probably obvious at this point.
Yeah, it's
Everybody
Pack
knows
Rat.
about Pack Rat, right? Pack Rat's like the new Bitter Blossom. That's not true at all.
Right, and the player's looking at their opening hand for game 2.
Hey, both keep. John Finkel leads with a Swamp Mountain for Mount Beverly. And let's see if there's a 2-drop. All right, that is a Grim Rouseabout. I thought it was a rat for a minute, but it is not.
That good. Beverly, no turn 2 play this time.
Uh-huh.
Looks like John just drew a Frostburn Weird, which he's going to have a tough time casting.
I like Grim Rouseabout, but a couple of my friends think it's
but John
nearly
again
unplayable.
stuck on 2 lands. No.
All right, but he's drawn one here, it looks
Yeah.
like. And an ideal color of land considering the colors of his deck. All right, get in there.
Beverly down to 16.
He
John,
just doesn't have
no
a play. All right, he says, you know what? Auger Spree that thing. It can be tough to get rid of, so he just Beverly just wanted to get that thing off the table and then pass the turn back.
He's got a handful of removal spells.
I see that.
Not any creatures that he can cast anytime soon. So
Not an ideal spot. There's a Dagger Drone Imp. Now, is he going to let it hit him? Yeah, he doesn't mind. Pass the turn back. He has an Annihilating Fire in hand. He's probably hoping that John will just pursue to flight it up again, but I don't think John would do that even if he had it in his hand.
no, Beverly's got 5 mana up. He's cast 1 spell. He's got to figure that he's got at least a removal spell or 2 at the other side of the table.
Yep, he says go, and Beverly stays patient. He's not going to take out that Imp. It's not doing a whole lot here as Beverly just continues to make his mana drops and pass the turn back. He's already at 6 mana. This game just – there is a Pursuit of Flight, but I don't think John is going to want to make that play. If anything, he could just attack with the Keyrune and the Imp and draw out removal that way if that's the route he wanted. But he's got a whole ton of cards in hand, so I figure he's going to play something.
He probably needs the Keyrune mana.
Exactly. Doesn't want to risk letting it get killed. All right, so he's going to play 2, and he's going to play a Frostburn Weird and just say go. Go for it, man. All right, I see, I believe, another Auger Spree in Matthew Beverly's hand, and there it is. It's going to take down the Frostburn Weird. I maybe would have waited a little bit. Just give John a chance to pump some mana into it if you're not going to do anything else. I mean, he's got 100 mana on the table now. He's got 7. He even has blue in there.
Right.
Both players still have a reasonable amount of cards in hand. Somehow Beverly has like infinite mana and cards in hand, while John's got, well, he's got infinite cards in hand and less mana.
So is John finally going to cast his Pursuit of Flight? He does.
He does indeed. He's going to get 2 for 1 here unless he has a response, which he really can't. Right.
Beverly
Annihilating
responding
Fire,
to the
Dagger
Pursuit of
Drone
Flight.
And John exiles the Imp and just says go. That is not the way he wanted that play to go, but I think he felt like he didn't have anything else to do anyway. All right, Matthew Beverly. I mean, when your opponent passes with that much mana, it doesn't even play a land. You got to figure either he has all lands in hand or a bunch of removal.
And Beverly has already killed 3 of John's creatures.
He has indeed.
That
We see the Rick's Mighty Guildmage here for John Finkel.
Did Beverly finally draw a creature? No, another removal spell.
Wow.
Uses Stab Wound.
His removal suite is amazing. I think he still has another Annihilating Fire or maybe a Explosive Impact or something.
Yeah, that's an Explosive Impact in his hand.
Jeez. This is going to be a Dead
Reveler, 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
Dies to Explosive Impact.
It sure does, and Matthew Beverly probably is going to just pass a turn back and cast that on it.
Did he just draw another removal spell?
He just cannot play the land. Yes, do it. Maybe he's got some loot ability with that one blue mana source. Doesn't seem likely.
Or he might be afraid of a Mind Rot out of John. But no, he plays the land.
Yeah, I mean, John is in black, so Mind Rot is actually a concern there.
So John was stuck on lands for a while this game, but Beverly didn't have any threats of his own to punish John.
And Beverly's hit a lot of land drops. He's only missed one. John is now sitting at a fairly ideal 5 mana. I think 6 is probably where you want to end up.
Activates his key rune. Getting ready for potentially
6 damage coming in.
So what's Beverly going to kill here?
Well, I think I'd take out the key rune.
Yeah.
I mean, if he only has the one removal spell left in his hand, he might just have to take out the Dead Revelers because that 4 toughness can be a real pain. But, you know, blocking a 3/1 first strike's no party either.
Sure.
But we've seen that Jon Finkel has been struggling with his mana. He just hit this land drop here, and you might just want to take this opportunity to keep him back. You're taking the same amount of damage either way.
He does kill the key rune.
Now, we also know, though, that Matthew Beverly has Batterhorn in his deck, and, you know, it would be tempting to wait, but he does not. So I guess he's going to take the 3. And Jon Finkel says, go ahead.
Yeah, wants to make sure that John can't hit 6 mana next turn.
Yep.
Even if he draws a land. He knows that John doesn't have a great play on 5.
Wow.
Another removal spell.
He's got an Assassin Strike. His graveyard is insane right now. He's got Augur Spree. He's got Explosive Impact. He's got an Annihilating Fire, a Stab Wound, and an Assassin Strike.
Jeez, John just discarded another Pursuit of Flight and played a Lobber Crew. Now that John's seen how much removal Beverly has, I doubt those Pursuit of Flights are going to be in there if he's able to take this game and go on to game 3.
Mm-hmm. All right, there's a little bit of pressure on Matthew Beverly's side in the form of a Soulsworn Spirit. Now, he's going to not be able to activate that Lobber Crew until next turn. Now, there you go. There's some pressure, John.
Cobble Brute.
Cobble Brute.
But does Beverly have another removal spell for it? Oh, he just drew a second island.
His mana base looks a little sketchy on Matthew Beverly's side, but man, I got to say that being able to take just infinite turns by killing every single threat that your opponent plays, it makes your mana a lot easier. This is 6.
Oh,
and
Sphinx
it is
of the Chimes again.
Sphinx of the Chimes. So John needs, what, an ultimate price here to take care of that thing.
John just ticked away a point with his Lobber Crew, knocking Matthew Beverly down to 10.
So John probably still just attacks. Man, that's interesting because Matthew Beverly did not attack with his Soulsworn Spirit there.
Oh, Stab Wound.
Ooh.
Puts it on the Sphinx of the Chimes.
So
John could have attacked with the Cobble Brute first. And either traded it for his opponent's 2/1 unblockable creature, or let it run into the Sphinx of the Chimes and then stab wounded away after combat. But no, John wants to work away.
Racing. Oh my goodness, that is a Street Spasm for 100. 1, 2, 3, 4. We saw this in the last match that we had on camera from Martin Yuza.
But Beverly's on 7. And he's got a stab wound. Sure, he's attacking John down to 17, but right now, this is a really close race.
Actually, this is a very close race. If John has any way to get in any extra damage. All right, he's going to play again his 5th mana source. He's been here before in this game. Splatter Thug. That's a great one.
Unleashed.
He does, in fact, unleash it. He's going to drop Matthew Beverly to 5. This means that Matthew cannot take a hit from the Splatter Thug. And he also, his plan can't be to sit back with the Sphinx of the Chimes and block, because then John can just not attack.
Right. Just let Stab Wound do all the work.
John sitting at a very healthy life total after the dust has settled on this situation.
All right. Well, Beverly trying to figure out what he can attack with. Does he want to get in for 2 with the Soulsworn Spirit? 3 with the Sphinx? Does he want to attack with both and hope that his follow-up creature lives?
Really depends on what he has. He's in a tough position, though. It looks like he is going to battle.
So he attacks with just the Sphinx, knocks John down to 14, and then plays a Spawn of Rixmati.
And he's going to unleash it.
Oh, is he?
Is he? Oh,
Nope.
ooh. That dice was hovering.
No.
He's not, and that's a smart play because I think John might have that Tenement Crasher in his hand.
Tenement Crasher or a removal spell. There are so many things that would allow him to
Still
just
needs
win.
a land, though, to hit that Tenement Crasher. What does he have here?
Pay 2.
He has Mizium Mortars.
Not overloaded. Oh, but Beverly has a
cancel.
cancel.
Gets it. Man, he didn't have those islands forever. All right, so but John can attack here. 3, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, he can definitely attack. And in fact, the Soulsworn Spirit just jumps in front, and an Augur Spree takes out the Spawn of Rixmati as we see Matthew Beverly drop down to 3, and John is in the driver's seat. Depending on, look, Matt just
Beverly
has to pass the
passes.
turn back. That's horrific for him.
John has his 6th land. He can cast his Tenement Crasher.
If he does,
But
he can attack. No,
it
it's
just plays
just
a key
another
rune.
key rune. Oh, but he's
And
got a follow-up play.
Ogre Jailbreaker.
Ogre Jailbreaker,
Okay.
and it can't attack
Let's
currently.
stab wound. Well, Matt Beverly's on 1.
He doesn't need to attack. And it looks like Matt Beverly has just passed the turn back. That should be the game. If he has a way to get rid of his own Sphinx, he can. Bouncing it to his hand or something would be pretty awesome, but I think he just would have done that on his main
plays
phase.
Tenement Crasher. And Matt Beverly just concedes.
You know, we couldn't see John's face during that interaction, but I have a feeling that he just played Tenement Crasher and just looked at his opponent. You know, like, will you concede now?
All right, so are we going to see John reach for his sideboard to get rid of his Pursuit of Flights? Seems likely.
It seems very like how could you? I mean, unless he just doesn't have anything else to put in, or if he's happy just saving him forever. You know, if you know your opponent has a bunch of removal, you can maneuver it so that you get at least one hit in. That's not really worth it, though.
I don't. Oh, we just got a report from Bing Luke. He is now undefeated at 9-0, defeated Martin Yuza.
Man, his deck must be insane because Bing's a very solid player, but we did get a chance to see Martin's deck, and his deck was great.
Finkel is making some sideboard changes. Taking out 2 cards.
2 cards is exactly how many Pursuit of Flights we've seen from him so far, so those might be coming out like you suggested. I mean, I still can't believe the run of removal that we saw at the beginning of the game from Matthew Beverly there.
Yeah. Oh, and we see a Deviant Glee coming out of John's deck. So John actually had the potential for a lot of fast starts, but he doesn't want to just set himself up to get 2 for 1.
In a normal format, you wouldn't want to. I usually don't run cards like Deviant Glee and Pursuit of Flight because of this reason. But normally, your opponent doesn't have 6 awesome removal spells in a row to get you.
I literally lost count of how many good removal spells that Beverly had.
It was insane.
I mean, once you get up to 8-0, the decks are going to be really good.
Yeah, and of course the players that are getting there are getting those decks there are also amazing. So I'm curious to see how John's deck changes if he did in fact take out 1 or more of the Pursuit of Flights or the
It looked like he took out a Deviant Glee
And a Deviant
and at
Glee.
least one Pursuit of Flight. I don't know if he left one of the Pursuit of Flights in.
I mean, his deck clearly was built to be very, very fast and really get in there quickly. And I wonder if, you know,
Which has been awesome for him so far.
it has absolutely. I just don't think he's faced somebody that had the quantity of removal that Matthew has here. It's just been incredible.
But at the same time, Matthew Beverly is 3 colors. He could run into some real mana problems.
Yeah, and you know, I have to say we didn't see a ton of fixing from him, and his mana was very greedy.
He just
I don't
mulliganed.
Yeah, I don't know how many islands he's running. Maybe we just missed some of the fixing, but
So we saw a Izzet Guildgate in game 1.
right, okay, so he does have that to help smooth things out. Because I mean, he had a cancel, and his mana was like swamp, 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 mountain, mountain, mountain. It's kind of like, I understand the Sphinx of the Chimes, because that can come down at any point that you finally do hit some amount of mana, and it's not that big of a deal. But you know, you need the cancel when you need the cancel.
Or if he just figures he's saving that until the very, very late game. He has a ton of removal. We can deal with almost any creature.
Right.
But play against a spell, a Cyclonic Rift, a Mysium Mortars, which John has.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how many removal spells you have in your deck. That's not going to deal with that.
Right.
You need a counter spell.
Right. All right.
Really keeps his 6-card hand.
And he does, in fact, have that Guildgate, and John matches it. All right. No black mana sources so far. And a Grim Roustabout. It does resolve.
2/2. And
Splatter Thug, also unleashed. So we're looking to have a bit of a fight here.
we see that Finkel has an Augur Spree in his hand. So he could kill off the Splatter Thug right now. Not give Matthew Beverly the opportunity to cancel it.
That's right. Let's see if that's what he wants to do. He also has his own Splatter Thug.
Yeah.
And he can continue to develop the board, maximize damage for next turn.
Is that a stab wound? So, Splatter Thug is a pretty fantastic target for. Yeah.
Oh man.
So
now it can't block and it can only attack for 1. Immediately, Matthew Beverly takes 2 damage from the stab wound, and the clock is just ticking away.
we might get to a point where Beverly has to kill off his own Splatter Thug. Just so he doesn't die to the stab wound.
We know he has the tools to do that.
Is it Keyrune? So a little bit more mana fixing. So. Now, Beverly has access to as much blue as he could ever hope for.
Yep.
He has double red, but only a single black.
Cobble Brute on turn 4 for John Finkel. We're getting a chance to see what his deck can do when it actually has its mana. One of my favorite 2-card combos, I never thought I'd actually say this, but is Cobble Brute with Pursuit of Flight on it, and he had that in spades. I think he's probably taken out those Pursuit of Flights after seeing infinite removal from Matthew Beverly, but we can see how John got here.
And Beverly now on 12 life, thanks to the stab wound. He doesn't have a lot of time.
He indeed does not.
Finkel has 7 power on the board and a stab wound. Beverly attacks again. I can't imagine.
Finkel even could block if he really wanted, but he doesn't really have an incentive to do so. Although I really I guess Electrickery is the reason. Yeah, falling to 18 is just not that big of a deal.
Well, no, he doesn't want to kill the Splatter Thug.
Oh yeah, duh. What am I talking about?
Wound
Sorry. Yeah, I think I'm starting to lose it here. John looks calm and patient as always.
And Beverly uses the stab wound to kill off Finkel's Cobble Brute.
So Beverly figures that he's going to take a lot more damage from that Cobble Brute than he is from the stab wound that he already has, because otherwise he could just do that.
Just kill off his own creature, get rid of the stab wound.
You were mentioning it, and it's starting to become one of those situations where he's got to think about it at some point. Yeah.
He's on 10. That's only a couple of turns of stab wound.
Right.
If John finds any other damage sources, not unreasonable.
The crazy part is that because it was on an unleashed creature, John is able to keep pressure up and still get the value.
Yeah. And now Finkel has a Splatter's of his own. And a Deathrite Shaman.
Wow, that's a nice turn for him.
So he knows that Matthew Beverly has Street Spasm in his deck, but even if he has another land, Beverly would only be able to overload it for 2. Meaning that John could attack back with the Splatter Thug, hack another 3 points off of Matthew's life total.
All right, both players seating at 8-0 here at Grand Prix Philadelphia, round number 9. They are playing to keep their records perfect, even though both are guaranteed day 2. Day 2 isn't the goal. Top 8 is the goal, and then a win after that. Having the best record you can possibly have coming out of day 1 assists you greatly, gives you a little bit of wiggle room to, to lose a match or two in the draft portion, where if you come in at X2, you don't really have much wiggle room, just a little bit.
All right. Finkel gets knocked down to 17 and gets to untap with just an incredible board position.
Matthew Beverly has all of his mana up, so you got to figure that he's going to play something here removal-wise. But here's a Batterhorn. He can't really let that resolve. It's going to take out his Izzet Keyrune, and we see he's got a couple of 6-drops in hand, and it taps for mana. He's going to Annihilating Fire in response, but that Keyrune is in fact going to get destroyed by the Batterhorn. That doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it sure feels nice.
Not only that, but that puts an instant into Matthew Beverly's graveyard.
Ah, good
so
point.
Finkel can potentially activate his Deathrite Shaman.
And you can see he has that very inconspicuous 1 swamp sitting up there. It looks like he just decided to attack with the Shaman.
Huh. Surprised that he didn't activate it.
I am surprised as well, because if he activated it, that would put Matthew Beverly at 2, and it would put tons of pressure on him to get rid
which he's already under
Splatter
tons
Thug.
of pressure,
Yeah.
but that would just make the situation even more dire.
It's pretty dire either way you look at it.
And
Matthew Beverly says, can't beat it. Extends the hand, and John Finkel improves to 9-0 here, completing the official day 1 cut at perfection. He does have one more round to play here today, but that's actually